On Psyche Reveals, we delve into a controversial and thought-provoking perspective on Pride Month, as articulated by Dr. Jordan Peterson during his recent interview on Fox News. Dr. Peterson's critical analysis challenges many mainstream views, sparking a deeper conversation about the implications and motivations behind the Pride movement. Dr. Peterson opens his critique by asserting that pride, traditionally viewed as one of the 7 deadly sins, should not be celebrated as a virtue. He argues that pride represents a stubborn refusal to change and contradicts the ideals of personal growth and humility.
Well, the first thing I would say is that you should be very careful what you name things. And pride is not a virtue. And I've brought that up with people before, and their objection always is, well, they don't really mean pride. People are just trying to affirm their own identities. And, you know, fair enough, I suppose, to some degree, but that was the name that was chosen, and that's the name that stuck, and pride is a cardinal sin, and there's a reason for that. And the reason is that pride means something like stubborn refusal to change when evidence of error is accruing, and it's not a good thing.
This stance sets the foundation for his broader argument against the Pride movement, which he characterizes as promoting sexual narcissism. One of Peterson's primary concerns is the influence of the LGBT agenda in educational institutions. He claims that the movement's presence in schools has become overwhelming, effectively indoctrinating young people. His remarks on transgender surgeries for minors are particularly severe, drawing a comparison to Nazi-level atrocities and calling for those involved to face legal consequences. This provocative comparison underscores his deep apprehension about the current direction of the Pride movement. Peterson extends his critique to the public celebration of sexuality, questioning the appropriateness of pride-related displays in places like banks and churches.
And enough, as far as I'm concerned. Enough pride in the churches, enough pride in the bloody banks. I don't want to walk into the Bank of Nova Scotia and be celebrating pride. It's like I want to go and put my money in or take my money out without any political idiocy, and certainly without any celebration of sexuality. I don't know what the hell the banks think they're doing. And the churches, well, that's just, for the churches to be flying pride flags, it's like pride is the cardinal Christian sin. Right, so what the hell? What's going on with the flags exactly? What exactly are you celebrating here?
He argues that such public celebrations of sexuality are inappropriate and detract from the core values these institutions represent. This point challenges the widespread corporate and institutional support for Pride events and raises questions about the motivations behind these endorsements. A significant part of Peterson's argument focuses on the perceived lack of transparency and rapid changes within the Pride movement. He points to the frequently changing acronym and the decision-making processes behind these changes as examples of political confusion and a celebration of sexuality that, in his view, does not represent the broader population. This critique highlights his concern over the movement's direction and the potential implications of its evolving identity. Dr. Peterson calls for a house cleaning within the Pride movement, advocating for a fundamental reevaluation of its practices and ideologies. He argues that the movement has deviated from its original goals and now promotes practices that he considers dangerous. This call for reform underscores his belief in the need for a more transparent and representative approach to addressing issues related to sexuality and identity. Dr. Peterson's perspective also touches on broader societal implications. He questions why a movement that represents a relatively small percentage of the population garners such extensive public and institutional support. This line of questioning challenges viewers to think critically about the allocation of societal resources and the prioritization of various social issues. Furthermore, Peterson's critique extends to the concept of identity politics. He suggests that the focus on group identity within the Pride movement may contribute to societal division rather than unity. This observation prompts a discussion on the potential consequences of emphasizing identity over individual merit and character. The interview on Fox News has sparked significant debate, highlighting the polarized views surrounding Pride Month and the LGBT movement. Supporters of Pride Month argue that it promotes visibility and acceptance for marginalized communities, while critics like Peterson view it as a movement that has overstepped its bounds. In conclusion, Dr. Jordan Peterson's perspective, as shared on Psyche Reveals, invites viewers to critically examine the implications of celebrating pride as a virtue. His arguments challenge dominant narratives and call for a more nuanced approach to understanding and addressing the issues within the pride movement. By raising these controversial points, Peterson encourages a deeper reflection on the values and practices that shape our society and the motivations behind public endorsements of the Pride movement. By examining the motivations and impacts of the Pride movement, we can better address the challenges and opportunities it presents in our society. Make sure to subscribe to Psyche Reveals, where we discuss psychology and its impact on our lives.